What is up, everybody? It is I, Ray, back in the house again. And today we have a ramble. I'm sure if you look at the video title, you'll know what this ramble is going to be about. So let's just cut to the chase. Some days ago, I watched the new Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie, and well, as per usual, for a little ramble, a little yap session, we're going to talk about it. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it, shall we? Okay, so this is my second time with this recording because the first time got deleted. So let's take two. So here we go. So, like I said, some days ago I saw the new Super Mario Bros. Movie. And as per usual, I took a few days to marinate on it and to let some thoughts get out. And I'm really glad I did because there's been some interesting thoughts, criticisms, and takes floating around on the interwebs. For some reason, people are getting mad when others voice their criticisms of the movie, when people say they didn't quite enjoy it, or the fact that it had no plot going on, or that they expected more from the movie, which I think are valid arguments. But for some reason, other people don't agree. And and it's really funny the arguments that people make trying to defend the movie. What I honestly kind of agree with the criticisms. And so I guess this is ultimately the lead up to saying, honestly, I really couldn't care less about this movie. And that was this movie's greatest sin. Like, I'll just come out and say it, okay? The biggest sin of this movie is I honestly could care less. Frankly, would say I could care less enough to criticize it, or well, I guess I don't care about it enough. So any of my criticism I want to say is honestly just me nitpicking at it because I don't hate it enough to say it's a bad movie. At best, I would say it's just a fun key jangling, try to keep your attention, like an iPad's kid movie, honestly, because that's really all it was. It was just, from going from one thing to one thing with no real rhyme or reason. And if there was a rhyme or reason, it was more so about Peach than it was Mario or his brother, the Mario Bros, the franchise and what the movie's named after. Again, so like ultimately, I really couldn't care less. And the things that did make me care, I was just like, but why? Why would you do this? And one of those things being the introduction of Yoshi. They go find Yoshi in a cave. He pops up, and then that's kind of just it. They're like, "Oh, okay, hi," and now he's just here. And I guess it would have been fine. They did a little funny montage where Yoshi ends up in New York. So so I'm like, whatever, cool, Yoshi, I guess. So I was like, I could blink by it. And but then they had a freaking Toad come out and say, so we're just having this guy now, and made it even worse with Mario, like already trying to, like, I guess, pre-approve it by being like, oh, look at who could have you could have hate this adorable face, already basically trying to sell you on the cuteness of Yoshi, which will get again more keyjacking, like, ooh, isn't he adorable? It's Yoshi, everybody. And and again, it's like, but why? Why? What does he do for this movie? Which is absolutely nothing, by the way. Spoiler alert: Yoshi doesn't do squat. He's again just there, and like I hated the fact that they were like so self-referential in just those two moments already. Because I was like rubbing my temple. I was like, ugh, I hate it. I'm already annoyed. I hate it already. I was like, it's like, I don't know. It's like Baby Yoda or Baby Groot. They're just like, feels like they're just trying to get something to keep people hooked on it. Buying your cuteness. Basically, they're like trying to buy your loyalty with introducing Yoshi, and he's like adorable. And don't you just like adorable things? But that's my Yoshi nitpick right there. Ultimately, like I said, I hate how self-referential they were. I would have been fine if they went without that. But after that, it was okay. We got them hanging out in the kingdom and doing like basically like a Wii U Mario stage, like the Super Mario Bros. Wii U. Like it would like have these things on a map that would light up, and they would go to that location and solve it. So it's kind of like going from level to level in the Wii game, at least for me. That's kind of what it reminds me of. So that was really fun. I liked that scene there. So I thought that was pretty cool seeing the brothers doing cool things like Luigi in the frog suit. I thought that was fun. Oh, crap. I completely forgot to talk about the beginning of the movie, didn't I? Okay, the beginning. So, rewinding before all of that. Okay, so again, like I said, this is a yap, so y'all just got to deal with whatever order I talk in. But rewinding back to the beginning, okay? That's where we get the introduction of Rosalina and the Lumas. And honestly, again, I really wasn't feeling it. The voice actress for who was voicing Rosalina, Brie Larson, I believe. I wanted to buy the hype that she would have been a great voice actor for the movie. I wanted to buy the hype. I believed in it. I believed in it. Okay, in fact, overall, before going into the movie theater, when I got my ticket to go see this movie, I wanted to believe that this movie was going to be good. I wanted to believe this was going to be a fun movie, kind of like what the first one was, if not better, because we're literally going to the galaxy and space and all that. So I was expecting something real, so expecting this to be good. And the introduction to Rosalina was kind of like, I guess, the beginning of the disappointment because, sure, she had a little fight scene there, and it was good, but like I said, it wasn't a whole lot. It left a lot to be desired, honestly. It introduced Bowser Jr., which was cool. The robot that he was in, I really thought that was freaky. Like that design or whatever freaked me the hell out. I thought it was like some kind of alien invader. I was like, what the freak? I was like, what? When did Mario ever have some horrific monstrosity like this? So I was absolutely terrified of it. So it did its job for me on that and making it look threatening, that's for sure. But other than that, again, Rosalina's captured, so a princess is captured. That ticks a box. Not quite the right one though, but and we'll get to that. But others also though, the movie doesn't do anything with the Lumas afterwards. They kind of meteor shower into the Mushroom Kingdom, and it goes nowhere from that. They don't do any of the cool universe resetting thing that they do in like the Mario Galaxy game. And again, the story with Rosalina and what they choose to do with it is kind of like, really? Is that what you're going with? Kind of like Sparky from Fairly Odd Parents, really? Is that what you're going with? And I'm just like, why? Why? I was like, I can't stand it. And again, it just also more so to just me. I guess I can't stand Peach in this movie, okay? Because I kind of listen to some takes, and I kind of got to agree with them. Like, she doesn't exactly feel like Peach, okay? Usually in most Mario games, she's getting captured and thus creates the goal, the plot, the objective for Mario to go through the lands battling the Koopalings to get her back, okay? In this movie, there's none of that there. Mario literally has no goal or objective. He's just fucking around with Luigi in the beginning, which is, again, like I said, it's cool. We get Yoshi, which is ugh. But other than that, they're just kind of hanging around and doing things. And eventually, when the Lumas show up, I guess that's kind of when they get an objective. Because other than that, it was just kind of like Mario being down in the dumps because he was thinking Peach is too cool and he needs to impress her or something like that. And well, the movie kind of reinforces the coolness of Peach because she gets on this wild, goofy goober goose chase, chasing this monkey or whatever for Toad. Then gets into this massive fight in this casino scene where she's just whooping on all these ninjas and whatnot. And so I'm just like, okay, don't get me wrong, Peach can box, okay? Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying she can't box, but I'm just saying, like, 1v 100ing a bunch of minions or whatever doesn't really seem like Peach, She's usually more princess like. I would expect that from something from like Daisy. Daisy, I would expect to be the one to be out here swinging on people. Peach, not so much. That, I mean, again, that's a stark contrast where we kind of get that Daisy's kind of the tomboyish princess, I guess, and Peach, she's more ladylike. But again, like I said, don't get me wrong, she can box. She's in Smash Bros. For crying out loud. She's got some combat kind of style in some games in her solo game. I think actually even in her latest Peach solo game, they literally got her wielding a sword. So like, yeah, Peach can throw hands when it's time, in her solo film or, whenever Nintendo decides to throw her something. But other than that, she's Peach. She's, the one that gets rescued, I guess, is ultimately what I'm trying to say. But, and so I'm kind of like, and so to my criticism of like, it's a kids movie or whatever, or like it's Mario, and like, why are you expecting it to have a plot, or to those whatever criticisms that I've heard before, it's like, hello, they literally had a plot in the first movie. Like it was about the Mario Bros not being respected in their community or their families, so they want to go out and make something of themselves. They get transported to the Mushroom Kingdom. The brothers get split up. Oh no. So now there's conflict and tension there. And so now we also have the goal of Mario, adapting to this land, getting used to it, acclimating, and eventually he's got to go get his brother back. He meets Peach, like I said, Peach never gets captured, or even when she does in the first movie, she kind of just rescues herself, which was fine. I overlooked it, but now that I'm seeing like literally Peach 1v hundreding a bunch of Vada minions and all of that stuff, I'm kind of like, okay, but like, is that really Peach? Now I kind of look at you sideways. And also, it's also about Peach going out to rescue Rosalina as well because she gets captured. Instead, again, Mario, it's the Mario Brothers movie, the main character. Why is Mario not going out being the person to go rescue Rosalina? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with that? Why is it Peach doing it instead of Mario? So shouldn't we be called the Super Peach Bros? Because Peach is basically the one leading the whole team in the Avenger. And also, because of this whole Peach leading it, we also get introduced to Star Fox, which is like, again, another, uh, but why? It's like, what? What are we doing? This is the Mario Bros. Movie. And like, I knew he was coming. I was aware of it. I just didn't want to believe it, okay? I saw the trailers or people posting, videos of it on YouTube, and I initially ignored it. I was like, no way they're going to put Fox in a Mario Bros. Movie. But then I saw the scene with the Pikmin rocket, and then lo and behold, Fox shows up, and I'm like, ugh, what are we doing? It's a Mario Bros. Movie. I came here for Mario. Why is Fox here? What relevance does this have? Well, other than, being the reason for how they get into space and all of that. And after Fox showed up, I was basically all but zoomed out. I was like, okay, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm just here to finish the rest of this movie. And after that, like I said, I zoomed out, and so I can't really tell you what all happens afterwards. Oh wait, actually, I kind of can. They get turned into babies, and so like I said, another little key jangle reference there. But other than that, it really serves no big plot relevance other than to just let Bowser get away, or Bowser and Bowser Jr. to get away, because Bowser's like, oh, hey son, actually don't kill them. And Bowser Jr.'s like, well, okay. And Bowser Jr. also a little nitpick there, like his voice. It was also kind of okay, I guess. I was expecting something a little more high pitched and kid like, something more bratty. Because if you listen to clips of him when you beat him in the games or whatever, whatever he sounds like when he's whining in the games, he sounds really kind of high pitchy. It's kind of like, high pitchy, kind of squeaky, if you will. And so I'm gonna like, I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. So ultimately, like I said, the biggest sin of this movie, I would say, it's just it didn't make me care. I came with good and positive expectations, and I was hoping for good things, and I unfortunately didn't really get those good things. I really, it wasn't even much of a Mario movie, and so I'm just kind of like, man, what are we doing? Like, we're already fumbling the bag. And I mean, again, and the common consensus online is either you love it or you hate it. And I'm in the middle. I'm neutral. I don't care. And I would say indifference is the biggest killer of them all, because you love it, you got positive feelings and emotions and thoughts about it. If you hate it, then you have negative feelings and thoughts and emotions towards it. But at the end of the day, you still have emotion towards it. It still makes you react. It still gets energy, time, and effort out of you. Okay. And so that's, I think, something a lot of people don't understand. Being negative and disliking something, you can dislike it, but again, when you dislike it, again, it still takes like your time, your energy, and effort. So you're still putting an emotion towards it. And so I would say indifference would be where I am, the middle, lukewarm, where it's the bigger killer, I would say, because outside of me just yapping about it and talking and spilling my thoughts on what I thought on it, and like I can't even tell you, I can't really even tell you what happened past, like, I guess act two of the film, because I just didn't care. I was checked out at that point. I lost the plot. So I literally could not tell you what happened afterwards. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep too. So like I fell asleep at some point during the movie as well, because I just couldn't care. I wasn't no longer into the movie. And so that's why I say it was the biggest sin. So it's like after the movie was over, I left, and this is the only time I've thought about it outside like I said, just looking at comments or other opinions and takes on the movie in preparation for this video. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna go nowhere past it, other than, like I said, this is just gonna be the only time I talk about it. So yeah, but that's my thoughts on the new Super Mario Bros. Galaxy movie. Just like I said, a yap, a little ramble that I wanted to get out, because why not? Everyone else is talking about it, giving their takes on it. So here's my take for my 5 subscribers and anyone to come afterwards that may care. Have fun. Anyways, be on the lookout for the next video. I gotta go back to the store to get it. BRB.